Our next story comes from the Philippines, where a public rift has emerged within the country's most influential political family. Senator Imee Marcos, who happens to be President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s estranged sister, has accused her brother of being a long-time drug user. Imee alleged that the president's drug use, specifically dependency on cocaine, has affected his ability to govern effectively. The allegations were made during a public rally in Manila, where she said her brother's addiction began decades ago, when their father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr., was still in power. Senator Imee also accused the president's wife and children of using drugs. She appealed to the armed forces, police and government officials to help manage her brother's condition. However, Senator Imee Marcos has not provided any evidence for these allegations. The president's office has dismissed claims as baseless and recycled. President Marcos' spokesperson said that Imee Marcos' remarks were a diversion from ongoing probes into flood control corruption, which could involve some of her allies in the Senate. The president's son, Sandro Marcos, also denounced the statements, describing them as unfounded and dangerously misleading. Senator Imee Marcos is close to former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte, a key critic of her brother. Duterte was arrested on an international criminal court warrant in March and taken to the Netherlands, where he's being held over the brutal crackdown allegations linked to his anti-drug campaign. All of this is unfolding against a much larger political crisis in the Philippines, where hundreds of thousands of people have been taking to the streets in a massive anti-corruption movement. More than 500,000 Filipinos packed a Manila park on Sunday, part of a 3-day rally, demanding a full and transparent investigation into alleged multi-billion-dollar irregularities in flood control projects.
The investigation that the Senate is conducting regarding the anomalies on the flood control projects. From what we see, because of the very slow progress of the investigation, it seems that they are straying away from the truth. That is why we are here. We are calling for the government to carry out a real, sincere investigation and not cover up for anyone who are involved in this anomaly. Whoever he is, whatever their position is in society, they should be held accountable.
Now, the Department of Finance says that the Philippine economy may have lost up to around $2 billion between 2023 and 2025 due to alleged corruption in flood control projects. The country's economic planning minister warns that as much as 70% of public funds for these projects may have been diverted since the scandal first emerged. This comes as the Philippines has weathered more than 20 storms this year. Typhoon Kalmegi killed at least 269 people in early November, followed by Typhoon Fanwong, which displaced 1.4 million and left 28 dead. For now, the President's office says it will focus on the flood control corruption inquiry. However, as this political drama unfolds, it has raised questions about unity within the country's most powerful family and about the impact such public accusations could have on governance, corruption probes, and national stability.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.